Hi, my name's Stephen, and this is Rittenhouse Needlepoint. Welcome. Hello, this is Stephen from Rittenhouse Needlepoint. We're going to talk about Bijoux now. Bijoux is a terrific thread from Access Commodities. It is a very fine, soft, metallic thread, and it comes on these little pallets and sold by the spool. The thread is 50 meters in length. The color number, which is something that Access does, which I just love, is listed on the spool itself. So you don't have to worry about losing the label on the top of the spool or keeping the card, anything like that. So it's identified on the spool itself, so you can just discard the packaging and you still have all the identifying information. So good job to the manufacturer. This product is manufactured by Madeira Corporation. That's a very big thread manufacturer. They make a lot of products, mostly industrial products, but you know, they've scaled it down for the retail trade here. This product was also available at one time as something called Lacquered jewels. So this is very similar to Accentuate, which we discussed earlier. The difference between this and Accentuate is that this has a dark core. So it's wrapped, the metallic portion of this thread is wrapped around a black thread as opposed to a white thread. So it has a generally darker appearance, kind of more of a moody look. So they're darker colors and more jewel tones, I would say. It's available in about 30 different colors. My notes say it's 80% viscose and 20% metallic polyester. It is a very strong and flexible thread. Can be used alone, like Accentuate. You would need to use multiple strands. In that case, 4 on 18 mesh, I would suggest. Or you can blend it in your needle with other products. So perhaps 1 strand of Bijoux and a couple strands of something else, or 2 strands of Bijoux and 2 strands of something else. Entirely up to you. Practice first on a little doodle canvas or off to the side. See if it works. If it's too hard to go through the canvas, you know, back off. If it's too easy, some of the canvas is exposed, add some more. Pretty logical. So anywho, the distributor makes some recommendations about how to use this thread, and one of them is particularly good, I think. I'm sorry, we're filming while the store is open, and so you're going to hear some ambient noise. Just try to disregard it. Anyhow, the distributor recommends when you're using multiple strands that you should double the thread over. So use the thread doubled over rather than 4 strands separately. You would use 2 strands doubled over, which is pretty clever, I think, because I didn't do that when I was stitching my sample. And it's really hard to align 4 threads evenly. Invariably, the tops are not quite level with one another, or while you're stitching, they become disjointed, and you end up having to cut the ends so that they remain level with one another. So I think doubling 2 strands is probably a good idea, and I will do that in the future. So I stitched only a few stitches with this thread, and it turned out very nicely. I did an eyelet stitch with which my Stitches for Effect book recommends for using with clothing, and I did a half drop Rhodes stitch, which they recommend for fish scales. I think this would be a beautiful thread for fish scales because it has a nice light reflectivity, and they also suggest Hungarian ground stitch for fish scales. So I'm going to try that as soon as I finish here. So. Bijoux from Access Commodities. It's a terrific thread. It's a complement to Accentuate. In our store, they're not located in the same area, so that's kind of idiosyncratic. I think most stores, they would be located in the same area. And the only difference between Accentuate and Bijoux is the color of the center thread. White for Accentuate, black for Bijoux, and it's more of a jewel tone look. So, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to our thread videos on YouTube. My name's Stephen. Take care.